All right. So welcome. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Okay.
All right. So this is the 19th edition of the SFI tips and tricks. And we'll be looking at CVs and cover letters. The fact is that these two items in terms of career development, work placement, job applications, securing positions, these two items are crucial. Many people have failed to get a job they are qualified for, they are competitive for, because of the way they have framed their CVs and their cover letters. So what I want to do this afternoon is to briefly take you through some of the issues that you need to be aware of as you work in your career. Much of these things improve with experience. And just to make a note that each of these can vary from position to position, from discipline to discipline. If you are looking at the academic environment, which is most of the things we'll be looking at this afternoon, compared to industry, can vary from country to country sometimes. And so you need to always adapt these items. All right. But regardless of where you find yourself, they are crucial. They are very crucial. One thing you have to note is that once you apply for a job, those that will interview you, those that you will meet, may not have to read everything about you. All right. But these two items most often are the things they will look at. All right. So your self-expression becomes important. So let me see what I have here. Yeah, as usual, I will send you out to your breakout sessions. I will send you out, and then when you come back, I will summarize. Okay, so the question I have for you, you need to, please don't use your phone. Don't use your phone. Don't use your computer. Just make your first impression. What have you understood by these two items? CV, resume. How do you perceive them? Do they differ? If they are different, what makes them different? In what context can they be used? Can they be used for the same purpose? Can they be used interchangeably? So I will send you out, go to your breakout sessions, and when you get your breakout session, select somebody who will. And so when you come back, it will be under my discretion whether I take feedback, but appoint somebody who will present your feedback in 1 minute as usual. In 1 minute, what are your thoughts regarding CVs and resumes? All right. So please take note of that. So I will create I will create 3 breakout sessions. So please, it is automatically assigned. Choose yours and get to discussion. 15 minutes, I will call you back. All right. I hope it is all clear. All right. Group 1, tell us what you have. Snap.
Thank you very much. We want to, in our group, we concluded that a CV and a resume are not exactly the same, that a resume is an abridged form of a CV that talks about your career path. There are other contents of the CV that is not included in the resume. Some particular countries will prefer you to give them a resume rather than a CV. They may sometimes not be able to be used interchangeably. So we concluded that they are not exactly the same. And the word limit and number of pages is limited in resume compared to CV, where you are allowed to go to town, talking about other things about yourself apart from your academic pursuit and your career life. Thank you, and over.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Group number 2.
In addition to what Group 1 has mentioned, we figured out that both the CV and resume are portfolios that capture the academic and professional qualifications, but a CV has countless pages and a resume is always specific to 2 or about pages. So depending on what application somebody is putting up, or where they're required to put a resume, they'll always be customizing their resume. So a CV would be elaborate and have all the details that they require, and a resume will be condensed so that it's a tight fit to the applications that they're putting in. In terms of context, we did indicate that for promotion purposes and sometimes in grant applications, a resume would be required, but largely they are relevant in most of the context. The third question, yes, we said they can be used for the same purpose. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Group number 3, finally.
Okay. For group 3, we mentioned that resumes are quite shorter and they are more tailored towards specific skills as required by the application or the recruiter. We said also that CVs are longer and they detail the overall education and experience of an individual. Then the second question, it says in what context are they used? We said that this is based on the specificity of the recruiter's request. And number 3 says that can they be used for same purpose, which is no, because the contents are quite different. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. You have done a great job for the groups. Our presentation today does not center on resume, but on CV. I brought it up because sometimes people confuse it. Sometimes people confuse or people use them as the same thing, but resume is a document that actually tells you in a short way. And usually in most cases, it's one-page document. Why the CV is and elaborate, as you have said. Sometimes the context may differ. Resumes are most often used in industry than it is in the academic environment. All right. So these things are important to know the difference, to know what your employer is asking you for, to know where you are applying to. Sometimes people may develop their documents to have a CV, to have a resume, to have their cover letters standby, just in case there is a call that, of course, that suits each of those. And then when they get a call, they can adapt. And as you progress in your career, you continue to upgrade those documents. Okay, let's move on. True or false, resumes and CVs are basically interchangeable. Nope. They are different, and they are very different. They're different in structure, in content, in length and style. Don't submit a resume when asked for a CV, and vice versa. Don't submit a resume that looks too much like a CV. Sometimes we don't know how to summarize. That's a problem. All right. So please take note of these things. The second one, goal of a resume or CV is to get you a job. Does anyone have an answer? I want an answer to this one. Just raise your hand and I will recognize you. The goal is to get you a job. All right, Olabisi?
It's not. A resume or a CV is not to get a job. It may be to get a grant, it may be to do other things, not necessarily for a job.
Not necessarily for a job. Okay. Let's see any other person. I don't understand why. There is a hand, I don't know the name, but please you can speak some numbers.
Okay,
change their names to numbers.
I myself wrongly. This is Dr. Frank Obi from UNM.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I agree. I will rename it after this. I agree with her. It's basically to put yourself out there, to market yourself, show who you are. You may attract collaborators, you may attract people you work with on grants, on researches, or any other thing, but not necessarily to get a job.
Yeah. But the fact is that when you are applying for a job, you submit them. That is when you submit them, isn't it? All right, Vera, finally.
So largely, I would say at a percentage of 80%, the goal of a resume or a CV is to get a job.
To get a job? Okay. Let's see. Let's see what I have here. The answer is false. No. Okay. Their purpose is to get you an interview. Is to get you an interview. So regardless of how long, how beautiful your CV is, you don't get the job. You have to go to the interview. Unless, okay. Let me reframe my statement, because I believe in miracles. Somebody can even not apply for a job and get a job. Okay. But the fact is that in the absence of a miracle, the CV or resume is to get you an interview. And so in a very competitive job, you have to do a good job in your CV or resume to get there, to get to the door of the interview. Okay, to get to the door of the interview, your CV or resume does not give you a job. It is when you get to the door, then the rest of the game is yours to play. Somebody may have a very beautiful CV and resume and gets to the door of the job and looks at the faces of the panel and the person fumbles. So your resume or CV has not got you to job. So their purpose is to get you to that door so that you can play the rest of the game. All right. And to tell you the fact, you see, in the world we are today, skills are much more important than, theoretical knowledge to excellence in degree or whatever. Skills are what are required. Employers require that. All right? Employers require that. If you don't have skills, then your chances are minimal. And when you get to the panel, you defend your skills. Okay. All right. True or false? Key message in your resume is to inform where you have been. Anyone? I can take 2 hands. Think carefully the statement. The key message in your resume is to inform where you have been. True or false? Okay, it looks like everyone is shy for this one. Okay, let me move on. All right, Zacchaeus.
Yeah. Yes, sir. My response is yes.
Your response
Because
is yes.
Yes, is to know where you have been. That is your experience. If the
All right.
job really requires to know the experience you have acquired over the time. So
all right.
it's your resume that informs them of that decision.
All right. I see some comments. Some are saying yes, some are saying no. But let me see what I have. False. This is resume. This is not, that's why I said, look at the statement carefully. This is not CV. This is resume. Your CV tells where you have been. The resume, in addition to that, conveys where you are going. A student contacted me during last week and that he wants to come and do an internship with me. I said, okay, let's set up a Zoom call. And then yesterday I talked to him and I was asking him, now you have done your master's degree, you want to get experience in research, and what is your plan? What you have done is already is there, but I want to know, because for me to take you, then I can think alongside with you. Where do you want to go from here? All right, it's very important. So you have to differentiate. When you're writing a resume, you have to, in addition to what you have done, what you're capable of doing, give information of where you are going from there. Convey where you are going. A resume is contextual, not a list of all your past experiences, but a selection of those experiences and skills that are best suited to the job for which the application is in front of you. So if you apply to University of Sokoto as an admin officer for postgraduate studies, and then you're applying to the University of, is it Kenya or Kenyatta University for the position of International Director of Master Studies, your resume needs to be fine-tuned for each position. All right? But your CV may remain the same. But your resume must always be fine-tuned, must be contextual and suited to the job you are making the application for. All right. I wouldn't go through this in detail, but here I have put some information that differentiate, and when you get the presentation, you can look at them more carefully. All right, what is a CV? This is a Latin word, all right? And I think that most of you here should know about this. Leonardo da Vinci. Vinci, this Italian guy who was a painter, a scientist, all kinds of things he did. All right, but CV in full is curriculum vitae, and from the Latin, meaning course of life. It means course of life. And if you contextualize it to the academic context, it means a documentation, detailed formal documentation of your academic professional history. All right? Professional history documentation. But I just want to give a caveat there. It is not a documentation of all your life. All right? For instance, somebody wants to apply for a post of a professorship and he's writing where he went for nursery, kindergarten, primary school, secondary school, high school, bachelor's, diploma. No, you see, there are things that you don't need here. So when we say course of life does not mean, and they can even go to the extent that, even the primary school I went some in the afternoon, I went some in the morning. No, that is not what is required. You need to contextualize what is in front of you. All right? So some details may need to go. So when we say history, it's a perspective of looking backward to those relevant aspects of your career you have built over time. All right? And when you apply for a position, your CV is your employer's first impression of your credentials. It summarizes your abilities to the potential employers. This is very important. Okay. So, as I mentioned, Leonardo da Vinci, they said he wrote the first CV in 1482, and then the history started going. So people can be innovative, actually. People can think ahead of time, because the idea of the CV is actually innovative and life-changing. Before that time, I think what used to happen is you want a job, you go there, you knock on the door, okay, I want to apply for this job. Okay, they ask you, how do you think you can do this job? What have you done before? But he came with the idea, what if I have something that I can send to the employer, maybe beforehand? Let him look and see what I've done. And so things developed. There are varieties from place to place, from countries, from professional bodies, and things like that. But this idea of having a document that summarizes the history of your journey is good. And I hope that you all, sorry, what happened? You all agree with me. All right, okay. In the CV, and as I'm speaking to you now, some of the things I will be recommending here relate to the context of academics, researchers, and maybe some allied professionals. Must-haves in your CV. Because one of the problems that people have is what they put in the CV. In the CV, what they put there. Maybe if I start from the top, from down there. Some people go there, they tell you the day they married, the day they baptized, the day they were, what is it? Their wedding, how many children they have, their date of birth. Some even say singly married. I don't know what that means. And then many other things they begin to put in the CV. You see, you are looking for opportunity. You want to target. So you don't go about distraction. And when they do it, they even start from there. They put it. Is it biographical data? Goodness me. Who cares? Those will never fetch you job. That will not fetch you any job. There are distractions, especially when in some places the CV has specified number of pages. All right, specified number of pages you have to write, and sometimes you have a long history. Okay, so you don't go and start wasting lines with unnecessary information. Sometimes people go and they write hobbies. I play football. I play tennis ball. I sing in the choir. I can preach. I can pray. I can have so many hobbies they put there. I like walking in the forest, like me. I like walking in the rain. I like walking in the sun. No, you don't need those. Those are not what they're asking for. So that is why it says the no-nos. And the list can continue. Okay, let me go on top there. Must-haves. And sometimes, like in the country where I am in Sweden, they have format. All right. For instance, if you are applying to some funding agencies, they give you a format how they want your CV to be arranged, even including list of publications, the way the publication should be listed. So in some places they have that, and they give you sometimes what's it called? The number of pages you should go. Okay, you need to adhere to those recommendations. All right, you need to adhere to those recommendations. Sometimes they may even tell you what should come first, what should come second. So they give the outline. All right. Sometimes you don't have those recommendations, but you need to arrange it sensibly. Okay. So contact details should be there, and that includes your current place of work, your phone number, your email. All right. If you have more than one phone number, sometimes you have phone number at the office, you have your daily phone number, your mobile number, you include that. Okay. Nowadays, people sometimes include other types of contacts as well. They can work in more than one place, and they can include those. Include home address. For instance, in this part of the world, your home address is very essential, as well as your work address. So both are needed. Personal statements, short personal profile that you describe who you are. I am an epidemiologist with 25 years of experience. I have worked in Europe. My work experience has been centered around Europe. Working in this university and moved from this position currently at this position. I have capabilities in this, in that. So short, few lines, not more than 5 lines, where you provide a personal statement of your professional life. All right, then you describe your work experiences, make a list of the history. Remember, it's a history of what you have done, where you have worked, when you started, when you ended, what you did. All right, okay. Your educational history, where you studied, what you studied, when you started, when you completed. So those are important. A list of publications, what type of publications they are, original studies, reviews, commentaries, editorials, and so on and so forth. So these are must-haves: conference participation, honors and awards, grant receipts, references, and their details. I mean, your referees. All right. Then you have others. Sometimes, if you have space, and then you can put things like your skills. Sometimes we have quantitative skills. I'm capable in doing data analysis in different platforms, OWLS, data, SPSS. I can manage data. I have conducted a study from beginning, from question formulation to publishing. I'm experienced in different things, so you can list your skills and your professional. If you have professional certifications for them, you include them. If you belong to professional associations, you include them. If you speak many languages, you can list the languages you speak many times. This is very important. Okay, for instance, where I work here in Sweden here, the language is Swedish. Most universities, English is the language of operation, but many things still are done in Swedish because that is language of communication by the society. So we who go out there to collect data, to invite participants when they come to the clinic to collect data, they speak in Swedish. All right, the documentations are in Swedish. Later on, they can be translated. So if I'm employing somebody who will be a research manager or project manager, then you have to be bilingual. You speak English, you speak Swedish. You write English, you write in Swedish. All right, volunteer experiences and community services. You have engaged in career gaps. Sometimes people have career gaps. They have given birth, particularly women. People have gone, maybe taking some leave of absence. You put those, because for the employer, it gives them the information they need to make decisions. And then no one knows they are looking for. Yeah, there are a list of do's and don'ts. I'm not going to go through all of them. You can I can just run through them, but you need to digest them. All right. So there are things that can knock you out. There are things that become irritating. For instance, the type of font you use, like this one, Comic Sans, avoid that one. Don't use several types of fonts in the same document. Don't use several font sizes, except you want to highlight certain things. All right. Let's say because you can make your bullet point. If a particular item is on a particular bullet point, make those lists the same sizes. Don't make some high, some low. It becomes irritating. All right. Section headings are a good way to break up your CV. List everything in reverse chronological order. So what it means is that list the most current first and go in that order. All right, until you get to the oldest. All right. Keep it concise by using bullet points. Double check your margins. All right. Sometimes they give recommendations on the margins. Sometimes they give recommendation on the fonts you use, the font sizes. Adhere to those. Name the document when saving it. Name it with your name. Name it with your name. All right. Use your name. You can say, my last name is Nwaru. Or I can put my abbreviation, Nwaru, BI, 2023, something like that. Save with a PDF file extension. Don't send with the Word, okay? Word document, don't send with the Word. Send it with PDF. Tailor your CV to the specific position. If you're applying for teaching, highlight your teaching skills very well. It doesn't mean that you should not highlight other skills, but highlight your teaching skills. If you're applying for a research position, the employer will always be looking out for experiences regarding research. Okay, so highlight that. Observe field-specific formatting. If your field, they have certain ways of arranging your CV, observe that. Consistent with your formatting, usually no length restriction for CVs, usually, or sometimes they can ask you not more than 5 pages. Make it well organized and easy to read. Use bold, italics, underlines, and capitalization to draw attention. List histories, yeah, this one I've mentioned. Place most important information on top and or left side of the page. Use a footer with page numbers and your last name. Articulate what you have done and take advantage of opportunity to describe your experiences. Don't simply list them. Describe. Avoid the bland phrase. In Sweden, for instance, if you're applying for a faculty position, teaching experience is very important, and they call it pedagogical experience. All right. There, they have outlines. Every course that is taught here is evaluated. They want you to describe what you have taught, how many hours, who you have taught it to. Evaluations, include evaluations as well. All right. What did the students say about you? Okay, so observe those. If you, that is with regards to, don't just list them, you can expand on those and give your reader more information. All right, that is about CVs. I have example, and I will include it when I send it to you. I have examples of good CVs, formatting you can use to adapt. Yes, I see some of you putting your emails there. If you want to get the slides, please send your email as our time is running out. But let me finish with the cover letters. The cover letter is a letter that introduces you to an employer. And when that introduction is made, you are telling the employer to think about your application. I am the right guy. I am the right guy. Think about it. You know, when I have recruited for my group, I have seen all kinds of cover letters. Goodness me. Some people submit cover letters they submitted to another university to me. They are so careless in that. Some people submit, they are applying for PhD, they submit the cover letter they submitted for masters to me. Okay? They are so careless. But I tell you, cover letters. You see, if you go to institutions, okay, let me take myself for example. I have advertised, let's say, PhD positions where I have up to 80 applicants. I am just looking for one person, just one person. And I have to select that one person from the 80. All right? I don't have time to waste. So I will quickly browse. Once I see anything irritating, you are out. It gives a lot of information of how careful you are, how diligent you are. All right, so don't joke with this. Your cover letter should be well suited, carved out very well, thought through. All right, like CV, the cover letter does not give you the job. It only gets you to the interview door. The cover letter is the first impression of who you are, what you have done, and what you are capable of doing. It's not a letter to tell your life story. It's not a letter to beg for a job. Please, I need this job because I've not worked for the past 5 years. I need it. Nope. Nope. Nobody is listening to that. It's a letter that aims to convince your employer that you are the right person for the job. So invite me to the interview. Now, just hold it there. Just hold it there. I have. Let me show you. This was a cover letter use many years back. Let me see how I can expand this. I want to use that to illustrate something. I will not give it to you when I send this, okay? So don't beg me to, okay. I've removed the addresses and other things so that you don't see them. So it's a cover letter of 2 pages. Here, I have removed this. This includes my own affiliations. If you have a letter-headed paper of your organization that you can use that. So here will be your name and affiliation, your email, and then the date. And then here, of course, you have the name of an address of the one who is recruiting. And then here will be the title of the position. All right, now see how this cover letter sounds. If I'm writing today, it will be different because I have this was many years back. I am pleased to submit for your consideration my application for the post of an associate senior lecturer in molecular medicine oriented towards respiratory disease, which has been, hailing from Nigeria, listen carefully, and having undertaken my graduate and postgraduate trainings in US, Norway, Finland, and the UK, and my postgraduate training in Finland and the UK, I have a postdoctoral actually. I have an inherently global perspective to my research and an overall academic orientation. I'm committed to the highest standards of scholarship, which has been recognized by my being awarded a number of competitive fellowships and be awarded my BA cum laude, MSc, what I got there, receiving the Doctoral Student of the Year award during my PhD, and awarded a docent in epidemiology at the University of Tampere. All right, so you see the first paragraph. The first paragraph is giving an impression of excellence in my academic pursuit. But you see how I started? I started by indicating where I come from. And I'm taking that advantage here because this position was a call to recruit international researchers into Sweden. Okay, and they're looking for people who have had international experience. So I took advantage of that I'm a Nigerian. I've studied in US, I've studied in Norway, I've studied in Finland, I've studied in the UK. That already gives an impression of my experience international. So if I come to Sweden, I can adapt. That is what that information is giving. All right. So the cover letter is not just write anything. You need to think about the call and then strategically place your grammar, your sentences, your emotions to let them. And through these places I have gone studying, I have received awards for my studies actually. I've received awards. That means there is an excellence. I am a serious guy. That is what this paragraph is telling. And then the second paragraph, now, you see, I have moved down there. I've talked about my studies. Now, the second paragraph is going to my research. My research activities have primarily been on the epidemiology of asthma and allergy. A core aspect of this has been on investigating the early origins of asthma and allergy, and I have had the privilege of pursuing these questions with leading international authorities in the field, including, then I list. Don't list people you have not worked with, okay? Now, let me tell you a story. This position, there were a few tens of us, I think around 30 people who applied, and only 2 were listed for interview. So myself and a guy from Australia. And when we came for this interview, as I was told when I was recruited, I was informed that we both did competitively. So it was difficult. In fact, the panel was divided into 2. So to break the tie, one of those suggested, okay, why don't we ask for extra references? And you know what they did? They went to the list of those that we have listed that we have worked with, and they are top people in the field. Do you know this guy? Have you worked with him? What is his capability? And what I got, the information I got when I came here was that the guy from Australia, he listed people who did not even know him. And what happened? That knocked him out. Well, it was a divine knocking out. But the point here is that when you are selling yourself, sell yourself reliably. Don't tell stories. All right. So I have listed those I've worked with, and really I have worked with them. I know them. Trust me. This work has consistently been published in top-tier allergy and pediatrics journals, namely this, ranked first in the area, allergy, ranked second, clinical experimental allergy, ranked third, pediatrics, ranked second, and JAMA pediatrics, ranked third. All right. So this is giving now my research excellence. What I have done in the past. Okay. Then the next paragraph, my current work as a research fellow at the University of Tampere, Finland, and on part-time under the leadership of Aziz at the University of Edinburgh and their wider team of investigators at the, then I mentioned this, then I come, has primarily focused on establishing the building blocks for setting up platforms that we allow catalyzing key translational research on asthma. In this regard, 4 strands of work four strands of work primarily form the core of my current research focus. And so I list, now I am getting to what I am doing now. So you see the flow, my education, my experience internationally, because you're looking for international people. What I have done, the people I've worked with to raise confidence that, yes, he knows what he's doing. And now what I am doing to give some implications and significance of the work I'm doing now. All right. Now, the next paragraph, building on these foundational and ongoing strands of work, which have provided me with the opportunity to steadily grow as an independent scholar through the active engagement in cross-sectoral and international collaborations, I am confident that the announced post will suitably fit my acquired experience so far. I have now also been able to establish an excellent research relationship with some of the professors at the university. Okay, take advantage of that on the basis of ongoing, yes, as outlined in detail in my proposed project plans for this post. I plan to build on this relationship, integrate it within the center and my international collaborations in order to catalyze key translational research on asthma, COPD, and intersection of these 2 respiratory diseases. Okay, I hope it sounds sweet, but the fact is that it didn't come in a day, it didn't come in a week. It took time to arrange this. In summary, you have to summarize what you have written. You have to summarize it. In summary, I am an epidemiologist with substantial experience of working in the field of asthma, a proven track record of winning fellowships and grants, publishing in top-tier journals, a wealth of collaborations with the most respected international authorities in the field, and an already established relationship with key individuals in the field of respiratory research within this university. So this sentence in the summary is already summarizing all the other paragraphs. Furthermore, my research agenda for this post is focused on an area of considerable public health importance, and I believe aligns very closely with core research themes at the university and the focus of this post. If successful with application, I plan to leverage and synergize the research infrastructures already made available at this center, this center I'm collaborating with, UK ones, the Finland, you know, yeah, all of them there. Put them because they are true. All right. In particular, I plan to implement core and so on and so forth. Please find accompanying with this letter my proposed research plan for the fellowship, my CV, and list of publications. All right. So you can see how that went. You can see that. Let me come back to this and finish up. Just to let you know, this is impression. You have to create an impression, because many of those who will sit at the panel may not even have time to look at the whole of your CV. But once they read this, the seriousness this your letter conveys will get you opportunity that you need to get to that interview door. And then when you get there, what those who can fast and pray, you can fast and pray for confidence. I tell you, sometimes it can be threatening when you see those faces, but you raise your confidence and defend what you have done. So I'm telling you, it is not a child's play. When you are fighting for something that is good, you need to do it and do it well, including your CV. Do it well, including your cover letters, because they are the story that will make them to call it. Don't be careless about it. All right. Oh, this is not looking good. Anyway, let me tell you, the next tips and tricks comes up on 30th of September, and what is here is data do not speak for themselves. First principles of storytelling with data. All right, how do you tell a story with your data? And some of you who came to the data analysis course we just had last month, talking about the need to have data skills in the world we are now. Not only to analyze, but to tell a story from it. What story can you tell from that? So on the 30th of September, that will be the tips and tricks. And then after that, we have more graphical choices in storytelling with data. I think that will come in October. Then we'll tell you what happens after that. On Sunday, if you have not registered, my colleagues, I think they are already posting the links. If you have not registered for this event, this is important for those who actually need grant. I don't know if some of you are very happy and comfortable to use your money to do your research. No problem. Good luck, as they say. Good luck to you. But there are those who will not want to use their mega money to run their research. They want to ask funding agencies too. But how do you do that? That's what we are looking at this period, to tell the story of what has happened. And so on Sunday, we have the Grant Ben. The previous edition was the Grant Delight. Those who have gone to succeed. But there's those who have gone and meet a brick, what's it called? Wall, a brick wall, and it did not go so well. What is the experience? What have they learned? What can you learn from it? How do you navigate? How do you push on from there? How do you identify the challenges? So we have getting people to speak about this is not easy. I am proud of these two colleagues who have volunteered that they want to tell their story. All right, they want to tell their story. If you change your mind the last minute, you want to join them, just send me email. Yeah, just send me email. I'm happy to get you on board so that we can tell and help colleagues to think. All right, the SF5 conference call for abstract is still ongoing. So please, if you have not submitted your abstract, it is ending 31st of August, and that is Thursday next week. So please get yourself organized and send your abstract. We are getting a number of them and excited about those. Yeah, and for the registration to the conference, if you have not registered, please take advantage of the early bird registration. It ends on the 30th of September. Yeah. We have sent out the speakers. Is going to be an important conference with loads of important topics to discuss. It's not only a conference, it's also a boot camp where skills, soft skills, hard skills will be learned. Some of those will expand what we have looked at today. So please don't miss this opportunity. It's the first one, the maiden one. The maiden one. Don't miss the opportunity. And that is why it is extremely, extremely low cost. That's because we want to get people to it. So please join the bandwagon and don't hear this story from somewhere. Yeah, the call for the SFI research funding and grant writing course is still on. It ends on the 30th of September. If you have not taken this course, yeah, I think you need to find your way to join us. Members, SFI members have advantage of subsidized fees, and they also have extra fees. Some of them will be attending it for free. Those who have applied, they are going to be considered. Some will also attend on reduced cost on top of what they already have here. So for members, there are benefits of being SFI member. If you have not joined, please join and get this benefit. And then the Art of Scientific Writing and Publishing also is open, and the application for that is towards the end of November, 24th of November to be precise. Yeah, we have a free refresher training on use of RAYAN and meta-analysis with SPSS coming up in September, 23rd of September. The link has been sent out. If you have not registered, please register. Deadline is next week, Thursday, so that we'll know those who will be attending. Share the information to your colleagues as well. And then causality through the lenses of Bradford Hill, which comes up on the 9th of September. Also, the registration ends 31st of August. So please take advantage of all this information. All right, I saw a hand that was there. Sorry, I've taken your time, but I am happy that we have gone through this. And I hope that you also have picked one or two things from this session. Thank you for staying with us, and I wish you a very wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Have a good weekend.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Thank you. Eman, can you, or Ajibola, can you please copy the chat?